In the year I did 150,000, the second year I did 1.5. And now we're transitioning from doing like 1 million to 10 million. We think we need the right skills, we need the right strategy, but your brain won't allow you to absorb the right skills or strategy if the outcome you're trying to get isn't safe for you to have. The reason you need discipline and willpower is because you are not in alignment with the thing that you need.
Today you'll meet Jess Cunningham. Jess is the true definition of a powerhouse, and she is a serial entrepreneur. She is the founder of Belief Coding, which is the fastest growing healing modality in the space right now. I'm looking forward to speaking to Jess to find out exactly what she's doing to build a business that doesn't just require her to work harder, but to build a business that requires her to be braver. Don't Work Harder is the show for entrepreneurs who are ready to catapult their business forward, because we believe it's not about working longer, harder, or smarter. It's about those braver moments. One bold move is worth 1,000 small steps. So rather than those small incremental movements that are moving you forward at a much slower pace, we're going to share with you the stories of successful entrepreneurs who've taken those big, bold steps to move them forward. This show is brought to you by Atomic, and I'm your host, Simon Randauer, and I'm here not only to share with you the stories of entrepreneurs and the success that they've had, but you'll also walk away with the insights of what they did at that exact moment when they made that change that moved their business forward. Jess, lovely to see you.
Hello.
So 10 million, what do you think is the single most valuable skill that has got you to a position where you can even, forget dream about this, you can even put it out there?
If I had to choose a skill, what I would say is learning how to market, learning how to get my product, my event, my service out to people, and then also how to communicate. Like, communication literally is key. And I know this is not a skill, but also I think a lot of the time too many people try and be somebody they expect or they think they need to be to get clients, to get people to work with them. But when you do that, you end up attracting the wrong clients.
Of course.
And then you're miserable in your business. I've done it. Not anymore.
So what is different about the business you have been building now?
It absolutely lights me up. It literally doesn't feel like work. And even last night, I was up till about 1:30, just finishing the final touches for my workbooks. It doesn't even feel like work. And I think because of my facilitators, their clients, I get tagged in so many social media posts of transformation. But this is the thing, and don't get me wrong, there's times over the past 3.5 years where I've been like, what is the point? Like, why am I even doing this? And then I'll be tagged in a post. I'm like, oh, okay, I hear you, I get it. This is the point. So for me, it is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the financial rewards of it, but I think a lot of people think as well, when your business turns over money, you get that money, whereas you don't.
That's the biggest learning, isn't it?
Oh. And I think with this, like, I absolutely love investing everything back into my business because it's allowed me to do really cool things. So I'm working with a world-renowned scientist now who's cost me a lot of money, but also we're doing documentaries, we're doing podcasts, things to show people that they have the power within. So I would say for a long time, I definitely felt lost, and I was definitely doing businesses just to earn money because I thought that's what you did. Whereas what I came to realize is, genuinely, when you love to do something, you can make that a business. So I think when we look at entrepreneurship and we look at quite a few people who do have businesses, a lot of the time they're trying to figure out how to make money rather than figure out the process, how to absolutely love what it is that they do, and then they can apply marketing, strategy, structure, framework, systems. Yeah.
What are the challenges that you would be facing now that you weren't facing when you had that first 10K month or that first 100K year?
So this is the thing. So now we're transitioning from doing like 1 million to 10 million. And I mean,
and is that the jump that you're going for?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you think of it this way, like I know from for a lot of you listeners listening to that, it will seem like, but actually, if you look back, and even yourself, if you look back on your career and your businesses and, things you've done, we're always, as we call, 10xing everything. So in the year I did 150,000, the second year I did 1.5.
Wow.
So again, we always 10x everything, but we don't really acknowledge. And again, I know a lot of your listeners will resonate with this, but sometimes you'll be working, and then just something slots in and it's just it expands. It is the same thing that happens all over again. You know, very rarely do we have slow growth until we reach the comfort zone that won't allow us to grow anymore unless we do the subconscious work. Whereas up until, I would say, the first 50K, the first 100K, the first million, something just slots in, and then you just have this compound or this huge jump where everything comes all at once.
Okay, so actually that makes a lot of sense, because let's not underestimate, to be able to build a 7-figure business, there's a degree of success, right?
Yeah.
So actually, why can't we believe that we could 10x it?
Yeah.
So what's the business model then?
So my previous framework would literally be 2 weeks worth of advertising for a 3-day challenge, where people would see an advert saying, you know, do you want a new career where you want to help people, or are you feeling stuck and lost and you want a direction? Join this challenge. They come to the challenge 2 weeks after. We warm them up on an email list, tell them what they can expect.
And was it a free challenge?
It's a free challenge, yeah. I've transitioned to paid actually, but I'll talk through everything. So we did a free challenge, and then people would experience a belief coding session. They'd understand about the subconscious, why they felt stuck. They'd have context to why they weren't achieving the things, why they weren't feeling how they wanted to feel. And at the end of it, then they'd sign up. So I used to do launches. I'd like to say organised, but I would just be like, oh, I feel like doing a launch, let's do a launch. And I think for the first couple of years in my business, actually probably the first definitely 2.5 years in my business, I didn't really run it like a business. I just run it on a felt sense, like, oh, I feel like doing a launch, or this feels good, oh, I think I'm going to do that. And actually, I wish somebody would have said that to me years ago, because I always felt like I was doing it wrong. Whereas really, those 2 years allowed me to understand what works for me, what do I need to clean up, what needs more organisation. So that was the framework. We do maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 launches a year. The same format, same funnel, same email sequences, similar ads. And it was 2 weeks worth of adverts, a 3-day challenge, open cart for 5 days, and then we'd repeat the process.
And so that, when you first started out, was it teaching people how to release their blocks?
No.
Or were you teaching them to teach others?
Not teach others. So if, for example, you were a hypnotherapist, or you wanted to learn hypnotherapy to become a hypnotherapist, you would train as a hypnotherapist, and then you'd be able to offer hypnotherapy sessions. So with belief coding, you train as a belief coder, and then you're able to offer belief coding sessions.
I see. So you are become a therapist almost.
Kind of, yeah. So
we're a teacher of.
Yeah. So we don't really. So we call ourselves facilitators because we don't, the beauty of this is, right, your clients are the ones that actually do the work. So you learn the process and you facilitate their journey, that's why their transformation. And it's amazing. And I think that for me is the key, because that's far more empowering for the client than I've healed you, I've done this, because the facilitator hasn't done anything apart from facilitate the change. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you were running this, so you've had about, is it 2,000 people that have kind of come through the training, and then from that, like, how long were they in a program? Because I know you say you're changing it. We're going to take a short pause to hear from one of our sponsors. Sponsors help us make the best show possible. Don't Work Harder is sponsored by Constant Contact, the digital marketing platform built with small business owners in mind. With Constant Contact, you can grow your contacts list, send out more emails, organize social media and events, and simply get more done with their advanced automation tools. It's everything you need to grow your business, advance your automation, and attract more of the right customers all in one place. Visit constantcontact.com to get started. When you were running this, so you've had about, is it 2,000 people that have kind of come through the training? And then from that, like, how long were they in a program? Because I know you say you're changing it.
So, well, to be fair, I've given them lifetime access.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they get, and also as well, like, for me, it's really, really important. So that they get that support. But what's interesting, the more support you give people, sometimes they feel like they're unsupported, which I found out really bizarre.
I definitely relate to that. Yeah.
And then other times, the more you give, the more people expect. It is like, this is a huge paradigm shift I've had to go through, because I would say, like, with my bonuses, my teaching, my coaching, I'm very, very generous. And even now, like, we have weekly success coaches coming in to teach the facilitators new skills. And it's ongoing. But it's, baffles me. Or sometimes, like, if I have a program, I'll just gift it to the facilitators. But then if I have a program that's paid, like, some of them will expect it for free. It totally, because anyway, that's a real paradigm shift where I'm having to kind of look at it really. And I've had to start putting boundaries in, and just not removing myself away from the community. But I think because I've been so accessible within it's ended up like bite me on the on the backside.
I feel like I was suddenly hearing about belief coding.
Yeah.
And suddenly there was this huge community. I mean, you shared with me, you've got a Facebook group of 80,000 fans, I'm going to call them. At what point did you go from, I'm creating this modality, I'm going to get it trademarked, to how quickly did it skip?
Quick.
Did it?
Yeah, but to be fair, I've spent over £1 million on Facebook ads and Meta ads. So for me, I had this huge paradigm shift. When I used to just do business coaching, I would teach women to make the first £100,000 without any ad spend. Now I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because for me, the quickest way to scale a business...
You can go faster.
You can go faster. And I think if you understand how ads work, you understand about your funnel work, and you understand about all of this, it's so much easier because, to grow an audience of 80,000 like organically, I mean, I don't even know what that would take or how long that would take. Whereas really, if I'm putting ads out, all of those 80,000 people, I know that they're interested in transformation. So the money it's cost to acquire the people within that community, I'm okay with that, because if I launch something, I'll always be able to recuperate the money that I've spent on ads.
Okay.
But what's really interesting, again, this has only come to light since I've joined Russell Brunson's coaching. For me, my main focus was getting facilitators, and I thought that was how I scaled the business. I thought to scale the business, I just need more clients who join at £2,500 to become a facilitator. That's how we scale. Whereas what I realised was, that's not how people scale. They don't focus on the front end, they focus on the fulfillment, the back end. So like now, this is how the model has changed. The model was just focusing on getting facilitators in, building a community. That was it. Now the model's changing. But what's interesting, for me now, we have our coaching certification, which is coming out, which is 10,000. And then we have our masters. Now our masters has gone through 18 months of beta testing, 18 months of fine tuning, finessing. So that's gone up to 25,000 from January. But what was interesting, I didn't even comprehend that to be an option. Like, it didn't even enter my psyche. But when I've joined in a circle, that is how they scale. They focus on getting the front end customers in, but they don't mind spending as much as the customer costs to acquire that customer.
Right.
Because they're focusing on the programs back end, like their 5K programs, their 10K programs, their 25,000 programs. So what our model is changing to now, I'm looking for our facilitators becoming our partners and our mentors. Because again, this is the crazy thing. So even though they have this amazing tool, sometimes they don't use the tool to put themselves on social media or to sell themselves because they're amazing. So what we're doing is we're creating JV partnerships with our facilitators where we're going to teach them our launch format, our launch structure. We teach them how to go into a launch, very similar to what I do. And then it will be a 50-50 split on profit.
Right. Can somebody succeed with just this reprogramming of their mind? Is it enough to build a business at scale?
You have to start with the belief, because the belief will take you to learn the strategy and the structure. So this is probably the easiest way to explain this. When I had one of my first businesses, Video Ties, which failed epically, horrific. But to get to run any business, you do need to have a level of structure, strategy. You have to just keep going and trying, doing everything until something works. And then when you find the thing that works, then you're like, okay, this is cool, this works, and let's find something else that works. This works. But one thing I will say is my greatest failures have been the best lessons. And I think since we've been making this transition to go to 10 million, I've made so many mistakes, but the mistakes had to be made because I cannot make them at that level. Because if I was to make the mistakes I've made in the past 6 months, in the next 6 months, it would all fall apart. So I've had to make the mistakes in order for me to look at, okay, the foundation isn't solid. Let's create a solid foundation. Okay, now the plumbing's not right. So every part of it has allowed me to create the correct structure in order to support the scalability.
And actually, you mentioned ops manager, and I'm quite curious, like at this point in your business, what's the most Like, how big is the team, and what would you say is the role that right now is most crucial?
Marketing and ops right now. Yeah. So I've only literally just taken on my ops manager.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, it would be me delegating with the team. This needs doing, that needs doing. But also because I've got 5 children, sometimes I can't get back to my team as quick as I'd like.
Of course.
And also I have like multiple team members asking me multiple questions, which I then had to feel frazzled. So my ops manager, my marketing manager, or head of marketing and ops, the idea now is I relay everything that I want, the direction, like what we're launching this month, and then they liaise with each other, they liaise with the team, and then they make it happen.
How have you got to the place where you can feel confident enough to have faith in some key positions running your business when you're not always able to be in it?
So I trust people till they let me down. But one thing that I do, rather than me tell the team what they need to do, when they say, what do I need to do? I'm like, what do you think you need to do?
Right.
So they're learning how I work. They're learning what they need to do. So now, because we've gone through that process of refinement, and if they've done something, I'm like, oh, that's not right. What I'll do is I'll send like the email back or send the message back, the social media post. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. However, what I would do is I would do X, Y, Z. So I was constantly giving feedback. And that for me is how they then build confidence.
So it's retrospectively you give feedback, right? So you allow them to do it the way they think is best.
Yeah.
And then you'll say, actually, next time, maybe do it this way.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, the more you create confidence within your team members, the easier your life is going to be. And if we look at it in the grand scheme of things, mistakes are always going to happen. I make mistakes.
Of course, we're human, right?
Yeah, and I think if they can make a mistake, it's never going to be so big or so detrimental. It'll just be maybe a slight pain for a short while.
Sure.
But everything is fixable. Whereas I'd rather them make a mistake. Well, actually, I'd rather them not make a mistake. But if they do make a mistake, I'm cool with that, because it's like, right, okay, so this is what we'll do next time. So it builds them up as a team player, but also it's giving them the courage and the confidence to like be self-led, which for me, I don't want to micromanage people.
You probably don't have time.
No, and also I think that's been the key thing for me, just retrospectively going back and forth with the team until I've got that element of trust. Whereas now, like, everything runs a lot smoother. There's still refinement that needs doing, but I'm okay with that.
And so how many are there? Because it sounds like it's a huge team.
No, it's not. It's quite so we have 6 people who work for me full time. Like between full-time and part-time, and then maybe 2 freelancers. So we have like a videographer, Johnny, who does our documentaries, our podcasts, and then we just get like ad hoc people in now and again. Oh, and Laurie. So about 7 people.
And how much are you needed in the business? Because obviously you've got all these facilitators, and you said the masters as well. So it's interesting, because when I was preparing, I was like, well, if it was a guy, would I mention that he has 5 children? So I was really wrestling with that. But it's you've mentioned it.
I think sometimes, especially if you're a mum, we're told that you can't have it all.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm definitely against that belief. I'm like, you can have it all. But you need to understand that having it all, there is definitely going to be a juggle of all. So sometimes work takes more of my time. Sometimes family time takes more of my time. And the ebb and flow and the balance is like that. Great way
to describe it. How much of you is needed then in the business? So
in the
on the business, I get it. I can hear that is at this level.
Yeah,
you're on the business.
Not really.
Do you need to be in it much?
Not really. No, in the sense of I don't do the physical work of it. So I don't do the emails. I don't do the social media posts. I write the social media posts for my own posts though, because I found it quite cathartic to do that. Whereas Carl, he'll post them, he'll create the videos. What else? I'll tell you one thing I do love doing though. Like, I absolutely love just writing the copy.
Do you?
Oh, I love it. I love writing the copy. I love creating my launches. I love the creative side of my business. That's where my zone of genius is. My zone of genius is in being in the thick of the business. And actually, I trust my vision, and I trust I trust myself, and that's been a journey in itself. So when I have a vision, even though it may sound absolutely crazy, I relay the vision to the team. I'm like, this is what we're doing, let's go. And they do it. So without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
And what's the time period? So like, when was Belief Coding born?
So in the August for 2021, that's when I did my first beta round. We had 15 people join. And then 4 years. Whereas I'd started probably developing it about a year to 18 months before that. And then 7-8 years ago, when I started to properly develop it and I started to train in lots of different things.
Wow.
And then I started to bring the techniques in to like my clients who would business coach, the ones that used the techniques would have more success. And then from that, it naturally evolved. But the strangest thing, so I had this framework. It wasn't called belief coding then. It was just this process that I put together. And I truly believe in something greater than us. And this little voice kept saying, focus on transformation, Jessica. And I don't talk in the third person,
Okay.
but it was focus on transformation. And I ignored it because I had the belief of, well, no one wants to transform. People just want to make money. People just want a successful business. And then I launched my last group program before I launched belief coding. And the night before, my guides or something guiding me was like, right, tomorrow you do it. So literally I stayed up all night just getting the framework together, registered the trademark, went to Staples in the morning, printed off all of the sheets, put them in these plastic folders, and then took it to my mastermind, not my mastermind, my group program. And I was like, right, this is business coaching and belief coding. And then that's how it was born.
And how do you get external people to know that actually, no, this is the identity that I'm evolving to, and this is where I'm at now? How did you do that externally? Internally, I can get the work. And for people like in the world to suddenly see Jess not as somebody on TV, but now in a completely different guise.
I think it's just putting content out. So I didn't really just content or like just talking about stuff that I found interesting.
So you were repositioning yourself through your content, would you say?
Well, not intentionally, but when I look back, definitely. Whereas now I'm being very intentional with the content I put out. But I think this is the thing. I think with social media, we get so caught up with what everyone is doing. It has to be this, it has to be that. Whereas the best reels and the best content that goes viral and gets a lot of likes is when I'm just being normal.
Yeah, when you're being real.
Yeah, or when I'm just talking about stuff like, I mean, I've got an amazing social media guy, Carl, is fantastic. And the video content he does, I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny. I love it. He'll get like 3 likes.
Yeah.
Whereas like literally it's me on holiday, just in my bikini, you can't see anything. I've got my sunglasses on, my hair's wild. And I'm talking about, I don't even know what I'm talking about, something to do with the subconscious. And it's got like 20,000 odd views. It's got like a few hundred likes. But it's just, you know, people like relatable. And I read a quote today, actually, you know, a lot of the time we try and be someone who we're not, and people see it. So I think the more you talk about the things that you're passionate about, especially if it's connected to your business, like people love that stuff.
Because you were already, I guess the thing that probably the piece that I'm missing is that, yes, whilst you're on TV, actually you were also on a business show where, of course, you were talking about your business acumen, and you've just shared you were business coaching. So actually,
well, that was after actually. So I only started doing business coaching. So my 3 girls, they lost their father, and I only started doing business coaching. I took a year off to make sure that they would be okay. That's what got me into like the deep level of transformation. Yeah. And then when I started to go back to work, I went back as a business coach because I suppose actually I kind of piggybacked off the fact I had been on The Apprentice.
Of course.
So actually looking back to it, right, I would imagine now then, because I'd repositioned myself, yes, actually maybe I was quite intentional with the content that I was putting out. Yeah, because then I would do like transformational techniques, then I'd share a bit of strategy. Yeah. I'd start doing like free launches back then, not having a clue what I was doing. But yes, I definitely did start positioning myself, but it was stuff that I was interested in.
Of course, so it was real and natural to you.
Yeah, and actually one thing for anybody who is thinking of starting a business and you're going through a training, set your social media up straight away and just start sharing what you are finding interesting from your training, because people will naturally start to come with you on that journey, and then you'll start to make noise and they'll start to say, what are you doing? I want to be involved.
And versus like just pure business coaching, I always feel like anything that's around making money or your health, naturally there's always a little bit of sometimes I feel like there's resistance, there could be controversy out there. How much is that something that you've had to handle? Because you know, there are some big people in the spiritual space out there. You come along, you've built what you've built really, really fast. What have you had to deal with?
Oh, people say you're just doing it for the money. You know, if you're a good person, you shouldn't charge. But I think like, and for a while that massively affected me, but literally I did belief coding, and I'm like, well, no, if I'm willing to, like this year on business coaching alone, I spent over $100,000.
Yeah.
So if I am willing to spend that, like, and also I think a lot of the time when people are saying that, it's because they're in their own world,
Their own stories.
Yeah, they are in their own stories. Whereas, if you have that mentality, success is never going to be guaranteed, because success only comes from looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, where do I want to be? Whose responsibility is it to make my life a success? And if you are thinking it's somebody else's responsibility, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to have that success, because the only people that can bring in the happiness, the joy, the money, the wealth, the health is you. Like no one can do it for you. If you want to be successful, like you can have anything in this world. I genuinely believe that, but you have to be willing to do what it takes to get the thing. And that doesn't mean it has to be hard. I mean, don't work harder, be courageous, be smart. If you keep moving forward, if you treat every challenge like a lesson, a purpose, a part of a plan that's for something bigger for you, the reframe of all challenges and all negative experiences are the thing that will get you over the hurdle.
There will be people who won't like the level of success, yeah? And we've spoken about it on a smaller scale, and then there'll be those people that might feel threatened by it. So, and then surely there must be a level of people who don't believe in this. I do come from a world where I do believe in the higher power. I believe in the power of the subconscious. But what do you do to get rid of that noise, the unnecessary noise?
So I started working with a neuroscientist. He's a world-renowned neuroscientist, neurosurgeon, Abhijit Satane. The guy is absolutely incredible. And we've been doing our scientific trials. We're doing the EEG machines. We've done.
So your reaction is, I'm going to prove it. I'm going to show you scientific proof behind what I already know is correct.
But I think that's the thing. Even when it wasn't science-backed, because I'd seen transformation, and because we have amazing social proof and we have so much evidence, I couldn't ignore that. So even though people were saying, it's a scam, you're a martyr, even though all of that was thrown at me, and this is the part I'm like, what is the point? Why am I even doing this? But because I knew of the power, and because I'd seen the transformation and I've experienced the transformation, that kept me going. But that was more for the facilitators. When somebody joins, I don't take it lightly that they've invested in their career. So my duty as an entrepreneur, as a leader, is I want to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power and my will to make sure that they are successful. Their part in this relationship is to show up for the coaching.
Of course, yeah.
Is to do the training, is to follow the guidelines, to put yourself out there. That's their responsibility. If I'm doing everything in my power, then their success should be inevitable. And again, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get belief coding science-backed. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first time we did the EEG, I was sweating profusely thinking, oh my God, I've been telling people that I've been doing this, and what if it hasn't worked? Because I did have that doubt. But again, there was the courage and the faith that definitely was like, Jess, you just got to do it. Just, you'll never know otherwise. So I would say the reason I got it science back was more for the facilitators, because I wanted them to have the confidence.
You want their life to feel easier as well.
100%. Yeah. And it's the same with, we're launching our documentaries and our podcasts, and the BC Extreme towards the end of this year, they'll start to be seeding. But this is amazing video content where we're showing, one of my friend Susan, she's 55 kilograms, and she was able to lift something like 20 extra kilograms just by doing a belief coding session. So her physical strength improved. We were able to get rid of people's phobias of snakes and spiders. So we've created content that our facilitators can share to, again, build that layer of credibility for when they're going out marketing themselves.
Does a business still need you to be as out there? Or are you saying that actually eventually the facilitators, hopefully there'll be more and more people who are ambassadors?
That's what I would like. So really what I want to focus on, I absolutely love doing the business coaching. I love strategy, I love structure, I love subconscious, I love it. And I have no idea how this is going to go, but this download, I want to make the next set of millionaires in transformation.
It's a millionaire method. We need to look out for this.
Yeah. So essentially what we're doing there, we're creating a value ladder, but we're also creating a funnel. So what I would say to you is, once we've got your offer and we've got your value ladder, let's now create a funnel to get people in at the first step of your ladder, or even the fourth step of your ladder, and then we'll downsell. We're going to experiment and play around with that. Once we've got that, then we'll have a look at what bonuses, or how can we help your clients to to get the result that they want? What bonuses can we include? What offer can we stack so it makes it a no-brainer? How can we make what you're doing so unique that people have to say yes?
Right.
So essentially, I'd say it's 3 steps: belief systems, core offer and value ladder, and then a funnel to make it all easier. Because one of my biggest mistakes was I didn't track any of my data. I just literally the first 2.5 years was just testing loads of different things, but not
recording necessarily.
Not recording, no.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I feel like this worked. Oh, maybe this wouldn't work. Oh. Whereas now I've gone really data heavy, really analytical, because when you want to scale, it literally is just a numbers game. Yeah.
So you have swapped, as you're now going into this 10 million in 6 months, and by the time this comes out, it will be an even less
hopefully,
You'll have to let me know how you're getting on. You've changed now from the free masterclass to the paid for masterclass. What is going to be the difference between those two, and what's made you switch?
So really turn up rates. So sometimes when I first started to launch, we'd probably have like a 15% turn up rate, which is quite good.
Yeah.
The last time it was like a 4% turn up rate.
Okay.
So it's when you're spending money on ads, even though you know you've got those people who are interested in what it is that you do,
and then of course they're on your mailing list then.
Yeah, so it's still good. However, when you spend money on ads, that's your cash flow. So you need to recuperate your cash flow. Otherwise, your cash flow goes down, you've got a business. So one thing I found was, it was frustrating when we're putting all of this effort and we're doing all these things and we weren't having the turn up rates. So now we've changed it to a paid challenge. And the strategy here is we're going to be doing paid challenges. They're going to be like maybe every week or every month.
Low ticket paid.
Just low ticket. So it'll be £67. They'll come and I'll take them through a training. By the end of it, they'll have skills they can use, but also there'll be an option for them to become a facilitator or for them to become an advanced coach, something.
What are the trends that are coming through from ads?
So long form ads are working really well. And what that is, it's where you're speaking for longer than 90 seconds.
Okay.
So as long as you could, and again, there's a bit of a framework with it. So every 3 to 5 seconds, you want to hook in the person and take them further along in the narrative with that. So long form ads are working really well. Really natural ads, so like handhelds, face to the camera, just like walking around, they work. Static images work. Reminder ads. So if I have a challenge, what I would do is I will do a countdown, 3 days to go, 2 days to go, 1 day to go. We're live, quick, you're missing it. So those ads will go out as the launch is happening or just before.
Right.
Early bird tickets work, final push tickets work, but it's a combination of everything. Instead of buy now, like when you do a Facebook ad or a Meta ad, always have the button as learn more.
Yeah.
Because it's a static,
But I love it, and I'm glad I asked the question, because sometimes I think we think that the things that are most obvious are the things that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of what you're saying, I'm like kind of nodding my head and saying, that's what the gurus tell you. So, it's good to know that it's working for you.
Yeah.
How do you build your working life? Like, are you working all the time? Do you work 7 days a week, 5 days a week? What? No.
It's interesting. I'm actually quite looking forward to it because I genuinely love what I do.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it. So when I say do I work a lot, when I do work, I am incredibly focused and I'm incredibly dedicated. There's a lot of talk about you need to discipline, you need to, what else is it? You need to sacrifice. Well, if you're sacrificing, the things that you love just for work, you're going to fall out of love with your business.
Quickly.
Really quickly. You'll resent your business. So for me, I work when I have my energy or when I really feel like, okay, this is it, I'm in flow. Because when I haven't worked when I'm in flow, I've burnt out, I've showed up when I've looked stressed, I've showed up when I haven't been as just as I am. And I think, like even when I was younger and, you read the books about to do with entrepreneurship, and the messaging, in my own opinion, is it's just off, like totally, because from my own experience, we talk about discipline, we talk about willpower, but the reason you need discipline and willpower is because you are not in alignment with the thing that you need.
Yeah.
So the resistance is always going to come up. Whereas now, I wouldn't say I have willpower or discipline. I just do the thing that needs to get done because I love it and there's no resistance.
That you happen to love.
Yeah. But it's not. Whereas before I needed willpower and I need discipline because I wasn't doing what needed doing.
Sure.
So it's a shift. And I think if anyone's listening to this and they're struggling with willpower, they're struggling with discipline, number one, no. It is literally your subconscious, and once you change the energy around what it is that you're doing, the action becomes just easy and effortless.
I mean, Jess, you've just been so. I'm inspired by you anyway. I love
too, Suman.
Thank you. I love the ease of which you talk about the big numbers, but I think
that's been a struggle.
Yeah, but then it's also the lightness of the energy that comes with it, which I think it taps back into what you said about doing more of what you love. So what I'd love to do is we get questions that are sent in of things that people would like to ask you. We've got 60 seconds on the clock, and I'm going to ask you a question and then just free flow for 60 seconds and let me know. It's not a hard one.
Okay.
The question that's been sent in is actually sent in by Sarah. And Sarah would like to know, who are the 3 biggest influences that have had the most impact on you in your business? And it doesn't need to be an individual. It might even just be a role. But if somebody was trying to replicate having influential people around them, what influences? It could be famous people. It could be just somebody personal to you.
So I would say Russell Brunson, 110%. His marketing and strategies are absolutely unbelievable. And you can start off by buying his book for a tenner, or you could join his $150,000 a year coaching. But the strategies and structures that he teaches people, fundamental for success. The second person who changed my life and allowed me to start to think bigger, when I became a single mum and I was on benefits, I was in a really stuck, lost place. And I started to listen to Tony Robbins just on YouTube. And that was the paradigm shift, in the sense of that really allowed me to understand that, I can do this. I have got the capabilities. And then the third personal people, I would say my family. My family first, because they're my driving force. Like my dad massively supports me. And then Alex, my husband, he's amazing. The kids, this is why you do the things that you do. So I would say family first, then Russell, then Tony.
Amazing. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Sarah. Great question.
Yeah, exactly, Sarah. Great question. Thank you so much, Jess, for joining us. Wow. Jess is a bundle of energy, isn't she? I mean, goodness, to be able to have that level of enthusiasm and passion for a business that you are building to that scale, I think is testament to how much she loves and believes in what she does. Jess is an incredibly inspiring conversation and really a great guest to demonstrate what working braver looks like in your business. Thanks so much for listening to Don't Work Harder. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and share. This show has been brought to you by Atomic, the home of epic business growth. Head to our website at atomic.site to hear more about our business programs and epic events.